It's not exactly a secret that the United States government has been conducting experiments on its citizens since the beginning of the Republic. However, one of their most controversial programs is the infamous MKUltra project, which experimented with mind control via hypnosis and LSD. And while it was officially declassified in 1977, many believe that it's still going on today. But what if the government was experimenting with something even more powerful? What if they were opening up time portals and sending people back in history? Welcome to my channel. And today we're answering the extraordinary question: did stranger things happen in real life? The Montauk Project? In the summer of 2018, a new episode of Stranger Things dropped, and with it the theory that all of the strange occurrences in the show actually happened in real life. More specifically, that it's based on a top-secret military project known only as the Montauk Project. Like many popular conspiracy theories, it's a bizarre mix of science fiction and historical paranoia, alleging that the US government created a time portal in a secret Long Island base and possibly sent Hitler back in time to kill Lincoln. So here's how it allegedly works. First, a brief history of Camp Hero State Park. Located at the very tip of Long Island, New York, the park was once home to an Air Force radar station that served as part of the nation's defense during the Cold War. Known as the Montauk Project, this branch of the U.S. military operated out of a series of bunkers, including an underground labyrinth of tunnels beneath Camp Hero State Park. While the purpose of these tunnels has never been confirmed, rumors persist that they were used for top-secret government experiments, including those involving time travel. In fact, many who have visited the site claim to have seen strange temporal anomalies, leading some to believe that the time portals are still active. Now, it wasn't until 1978 that the Air Force abandoned the Camp Hero State Park facility, leaving the underground complex completely deserted. Well, that is, except for the alleged time travelers, who had supposedly been stranded there since the 1940s. You see, according to conspiracy theorists, the US government was well aware that the Nazis were attempting to build their own time machine when they discovered an abandoned Einstein-designed device in one of their research facilities. After a race against time to reverse engineer the machine, the Americans successfully activated it and sent several German scientists, including Werner von Braun and J. Walter Christie, back to the 19th century. There they would live out the remainder of their lives without ever knowing that they just changed history forever. But the government didn't stop there. In fact, they allegedly opened a portal at the Camp Hero State Park facility and began sending soldiers back in time to participate in battles that had already happened, hoping to collect data that could potentially alter future outcomes. However, things didn't always go according to plan, such as when Private John T. Edward went missing in 1883. Having been sent back to participate in the Battle of Little Bighorn, he became lost in time and never returned to his own era. Unfortunately for Mr. Edwards and many others like him, it's alleged that the government did everything they could to cover up these temporal anomalies, including rewriting official records and classifying all documents related to time travel. And yet, despite their best efforts, strange things continued to happen, such as, when visitors to Camp Hero State Park reported seeing mysterious lights in the sky, or when local fishermen claimed to have found bizarre otherworldly creatures washed up on shore. But perhaps the strangest occurrence of all came in 1979, when two park rangers were conducting routine maintenance in the underground tunnel system. Suddenly, they came across an elevator shaft leading down into complete darkness. Despite having worked at the park for years, neither ranger had ever seen this before, and so they decided to investigate. As one of them stepped into the elevator car and pushed the button, it began moving at an incredible speed, eventually coming to a stop. When he stepped out, he found himself in an identical-looking elevator shaft. But it was clearly much older and far dirtier than the one he'd just left. Covered in cobwebs and lit only by a single flickering bulb, it looked like something straight out of a horror movie. And as he descended, the stench of decay filled his nostrils. When he finally reached the bottom, he found himself in a dark, dank room filled with old wooden crates and rusted metal boxes. One of the boxes had a faded label on it that read "Property of the War Department," indicating that whatever was inside belonged to the U.S. military. And so the ranger carefully opened it up to find stacks of old, yellowed documents inside. As he began sifting through them, he realized they were personnel files containing classified information about each soldier, including their rank, serial number, and last known address. But it was the next box that truly shocked him. Inside was a human skull that appeared to be hundreds of years old. Not only that, but a small silver locket hung from the base of the skull. When the ranger opened it up, he found a miniature photograph of a man in uniform holding a young girl in his arms. On the back was a name and date that had been scrunched up so tightly that it was impossible to decipher. Whatever secrets these documents contained, it was clear that they shouldn't have been there. and so the ranger quickly hid them back in the box and sealed it shut. After reporting his findings to his superiors, however, nothing was done. The elevator shaft was promptly sealed off and any mention of it was scrubbed from official records. But the story doesn't end there. A few months later, the same ranger was working security at the park. When he saw a group of teenagers sneaking around one of the restricted areas, believing they might be trying to steal something from the park, he confronted them, but as he got closer, he heard one of the boys say something that made him stop in his tracks. "I bet there's still stuff down there from the time portal," said the boy, referring to the legendary gateway to the past. The ranger couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. Could these kids know more about the supposed time portal than he did? Was that why they were trespassing in the first place? Of course, he'd heard the rumors about Camp Hero State Park being haunted by time travelers from the 1940s, but he'd always dismissed them as the ramblings of overactive imaginations. But now he wasn't so sure. Unfortunately for the curious ranger, the truth of the matter is that the elevator shaft had been removed, and no one knows what really happened to it. Some believe that it was destroyed so as to prevent anyone from accidentally traveling back in time. Others think that the government simply wanted to cover up the fact that such an anomaly even existed. But perhaps the most intriguing theory is that the elevator shaft is still there, and that the government is actively trying to hide it from us. Maybe they don't want us to know that time travel is possible, or maybe they fear that too many people traveling to the past would create temporal paradoxes that could destroy the space-time continuum. Whatever the case may be, we may never know the full truth behind the Montauk Project, and whether or not time portals really exist. However, one thing is certain: the strange occurrences at Camp Hero State Park continue to this day. People have reported seeing all sorts of strange things there, from UFOs to ghosts, to even time travelers themselves. So if you ever find yourself on Long Island, be sure to pay a visit to Camp Hero State Park and see for yourself. Just be careful what you wish for. Thanks for watching. Do you think the government is hiding evidence of time travel from us? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. See you next time.